Hey, Luca, I have that question here that you asked about. You're asking a great question, but what I want to share here is um, you're questioning, when I plug in a positive number and I square it, I get a positive, but don't I also get a positive when I square a negative number? You do. You do get a positive when you square a negative number. However, we have to be really careful with that notation on this h of x. So there is a difference between this and this. So what the top one is saying, which is what this function reads, is take the opposite of x squared. So in this instance, you're actually squaring x first, and then you're making it negative. The difference now, the one down below says to square negative x. So if you're plugging in a positive number here for x, then it becomes negative, and then you square it. This would give you a positive answer. As long as x is positive, right? Which is what we're saying here for positive values of x. So let's say we picked something like 2. We'll just make it easy. So if I'm going to do g of 2, I'm going to take 2 and I'm going to square it. And a lot of times I'll share with students, use parentheses to help. Maybe that would help see that negative is kind of out in front of that x squared, and we would get 4. But in h of 2, I'm going to take the opposite of 2 squared. So 2 squared is 4, but the opposite of that is negative 4. And it really just comes from this little notation difference. If I actually picked a number and plugged it in, let's say I did negative 4 and squared it versus negative 4 squared. So those are actually going to give you two different answers. The top one says take the opposite of 4 squared. 4 squared is 16, so the opposite of that would be negative 16. But the bottom says square negative 4, and negative 4 times negative 4 is 16. Hope this helps. If you have any other questions, let me know.